Om Namo Narayana. Sri Ramakrishna.
Om Namo Narayana. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of the life of direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. We are now going through the study of the life of Swami Subodhanandaji Maharaj. We had seen after Ramakrishna's Mahasamadhi, the disciple Swami Subodhananda, who had got a lot of dispassion, now he left the house and is moving around whole of the country like an itinerant monk, walking on barefoot, without any money, subsisting on the alms. So let us see what is happening in the life of Swami Subodhananda as an itinerant monk. Swami Subodhananda, during his stay in Vrindavan, he circumambulated Pradakshin, the playground of Lord Krishna, a distance of 168 miles, not kilometers, 168 miles. He covered this long distance alone, without any belongings. From Vrindavan, Subodhananda left for a pilgrimage in the Himalayas. He visited the holy shrines of Kedarnath and Badrinath. While he was practicing austerities in Haridwar, the following incidents occurred. Many of our people here in South Africa, they will have visited Haridwar. So while he was practicing, now the present Haridwar is completely different. The Haridwar of the time of Subodhananda was completely different. Now it has become like a regular town or a city. Then the atmosphere was completely different. So in that old spiritualized Haridwar, he was practicing austerities, that is sadhana, meditation, japa, and all the other things. The following incident occurred there. So let us hear from the sacred lips of Subodhananda himself. Swami Subodhananda is telling, I had been suffering from fever for 2 months. I was so weak that I could not lift my water pot, kamandalu, to pour water into my mouth. You can imagine what kind of difficulty he was in. Subodhanandaji is telling, I have been suffering from fever for 2 months. I was so weak that I could not lift my water pot to pour water into my mouth. One night, when I went near the water pot to quench my thirst, I fell down on the floor unconscious. When I regained consciousness, my feelings were hurt and I cried, Master, I am suffering terribly. He is addressing Sri Ramakrishna and telling, because of this pathetic condition of his, Master, I am suffering terribly. There is none to look after me. You didn't give me sufficient strength even to drink a glass of water by myself. Thinking thus, With that sorrowful thought, I fell asleep. Then I saw in a dream or a vision the master coming near me and stroking my body with his hand. And he said to me with a loving voice, "Why are you anxious, my child? Don't you see I'm always near you? What do you want?" Can you feel? Are you not having tears in your eyes? Now, let me go through that again. It will give so much of solace to our heart. As I've told you earlier, just like when you go to the cinema or when you read the novel, you identify yourself with the hero of that story. Likewise, here too, your identification from the unripened ego of yours. And let us lodge our identity with Subodhanandaji and feel all the grace of the Lord. So Subodhanandaji Maharaj is telling, when I was doing my austerities, sadhana alone, without any money, nobody, no belongings. I had been suffering from fever for 2 months. I was so weak that I could not lift my kamandalu water pot to pour water into my mouth. Sorry for that. One night, when I went near the water pot to quench my thirst, I fell down on the floor unconscious. When I regained consciousness, my feelings were hurt and I cried to my Ishtadevata Ramakrishna, "Master, I'm suffering so terribly. I'm suffering so terribly. There is none to look after me. At least you could have given me strength to take the water pot and put that water into my mouth. You did give me sufficient strength even to drink a glass of water by myself. You are making me suffer so much." Thinking thus, I fell asleep. Then I saw in a vision the master coming to me, stroking my body with his hand. And he said, "My child, my child, why are you anxious? Don't you see I'm always near you? What do you want? Do you want attendance? Do you want people to come and serve you? What kind of attendance you want? How many? Do you want money? What do you want?" Then I replied, "Master, I don't want either of those things. I can't avoid diseases, I know that. As long as I have a body, the prarabdha karma is going to make me suffer. I don't want any of these attendants or money. I can't avoid diseases as long as I have a body. But Master, my only request, my only want is, may I never forget you. O Lord, O Master, may I never forget you in this time of difficulties. That is all I want from you. Be with me wherever I go. Be with me wherever I go." Can you feel this? Can you understand the feeling, the faith of Subodhanandaji? Now Ramakrishna is telling, "Why are you suffering? Why are you crying, my child?" Ramakrishna is coming there and stroking his body with his own hands and is telling, "Why are you so anxious, my child? Don't you see I'm always near you? What do you want from me? Do you want any boons? Do you want attendance? How many types of attendance do you want? Do you want money? Do you want facilities? Whatever you want, I can supply you. To which Subodhanandaji is replying, Master, I don't want either of these things. I know I can't avoid diseases as long as I have a body. But if you have to give me something, may I never forget you, whatever might be the difficulty, whatever might be the pain. My only want is, may I never forget you. May I never forget you. I should always be remembering you. That is all I want from you. And another thing, what I want is not only that I should not forget you, but another thing I want from you is be with me wherever I go, all the time. I want that you should be with me wherever I go. All the time, I want you to be with me. That is the only boon I want. I don't want anything, attendance, money, facilities, nothing. I want only you. Just feel, just feel, just feel it. That's all. Now, the next day, early in the morning, after this incident, continuing this incident, early in the morning, Subodhanandaji is telling, I heard a voice from outside. Swami, Swami, please open the door. Somebody is knocking my door of the kutir, of the hut, where I was staying in Haridwar, forests of Haridwar, alone. Swami, please open the door. I got up and opened the door. A young monk told me, please, Swamiji, tell me what you want. I'm also a young monk, strong monk. I shall beg food for you. I will serve you. Whatever you want, I will provide you. To which Subodhanandaji replied, my dear Swami, I don't want anything from you. But later on I asked him, how do you know me? I'm seeing you for the first time. You don't know me. But how did you know that I'm living here in this forest? How did you know about me? To which that young Swami replied, he said that he had arrived there a couple of days earlier to perform a religious rite at the Brahmacunda. The previous night, Mother Durga, so I just arrived near to the nearby place where there is the Brahmacunda, and I wanted to perform some certain rite there. So just the previous night, Mother Durga had appeared to me in a vision, and she said, instead of performing this ritual in the Brahmacunda, you will get more virtue. You are performing this ritual or virtuous act in this Brahmacunda to get something. But Mother Durga is telling, you will get much more intense virtue. You will get more virtue by what? By serving the sick monk. Should note this. By serving the sick person, anybody for that sake, if you serve the sick person, you will get more virtue than all the rituals. Why? The rituals are just dead rituals. But you are serving the human being because God is directly present in every human being in highest manifestation. In all the living beings He exists, but His highest manifestation is in the human being. And Divine Mother Durga herself is telling, you know, the highest dictum of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, the first highest dictum is Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. God alone is true, all else is untrue. They are only in name and form. It will resolve back. And what is the second dictum of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta? Jiva Brahmaiva na paraha. Jiva, living being, all the living beings. Brahma eva, the Lord Himself. Jiva, the living beings. Brahma eva are directly the manifestation of the Lord Himself. Na paraha, there is no higher manifestation of God other than the human beings or the living beings. Jiva Brahmaiva na paraha. And here something similar is resounding from the words of Mother Durga. Mother Durga is appearing in a vision to that young monk who was performing that ritual in the Brahma Kunda in Haridwar. And the sadhu himself is telling, the previous night Mother Durga had appeared to me in a vision and said, my child, you will get more virtue, punya, by serving that sick monk in that cottage than by performing this religious rite. Direct command from Mother Durga, the highest aspect of Divine Mother, Mother Durga. She's telling you to note all these things. We will forget it, we will hear and forget it. These are very, very important things in our life. Mother Durga herself is telling what is more virtuous. The rituals are service. Service is the highest virtue you can get. By serving the sick, you can get more virtue than any other ritual. And who is telling this? The Divine Mother Durga in the vision is telling that young monk, you will get more virtue, punya, by serving that sick monk in that cottage, showing you, Subodhananda. She showed me in that vision that you stay in that cottage, and if I serve you, he is a sick monk, I will get virtue even more greater than the ritual. Mother Durga is telling you will get more virtue by serving that sick monk in the cottage than by performing this religious rite. So, early in the morning, because yesterday night I got this vision, and today early in the morning I came to your cottage and realized that my vision was true. Whatever Mother Durga showed me in the vision, the same cottage and the same person, sadhu, you are here. So what my vision of Mother Durga is true. So early in the morning, I came to your cottage and realized that this vision of mine, the Durga Mother telling me, was true. Tears trickled from my eyes, Subodhanandaji is telling. So Ramakrishna, the master, is none other than Mother Durga, is Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa. He himself is telling who was Rama in the Treta Yuga, who was Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga. This time he is appearing now as Ramakrishna in this body. Then we see that it is the Divine Mother who resides in his body. He is the Shiva, he is the Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa. So now Subodhanandaji, tears trickled from his eyes. I controlled myself and asked the young monk not to bother about. He wanted to leave alone. I don't want any attendance. I don't want any service. I have my Ishtadevata master with me. So I controlled myself. Subodhanandaji is telling, I controlled myself and asked that young monk to let me leave alone. Okay, now that was one thing. And that young monk prostrated to Subodhanandaji and went away. Now, is Ramakrishna keeping quiet? On the same day, another monk, completely another monk received 50 rupees by money order. In those days, 50 rupee means something like 50,000 or something. That is the value of the money at that time. So, on that very same day, another monk received 50 rupees by money order. He came to me. That monk, another monk came and said to me, "Oh Swamiji, you are suffering from fever. You need food and medicine. Please use this 50 rupees for your food, diet, medicine, and other things." Again, Subodhanandaji declined his offer. Early the next morning, that young monk again came back and told me that again today night Mother Durga had extorted me to serve you, Subodhananda, as before. Then Subodhanandaji told him politely that I really didn't need any service and that perhaps Mother Durga had asked him to serve some other sadhu, somebody else. Again the young monk left. Now, then I prayed to Sri Ramakrishna, Master, please don't tempt me with any more. I am glad that you have crushed my peak, my feeling of anger at you. I am glad that you have crushed my peak, P-I-Q-U-E, peak, the feeling of hurt with someone you love. So you sometimes get the, not anger in the real sense, but hurt feeling with them. So Subodhananda is telling, "Oh Master, please don't tempt me anymore. It's enough that if you are with me, I don't want anybody, any sevaks, any servants, any attendants, any money, any facilities. I'm glad that you have crushed my peak." Now the young monk again came the third time because Mother Durga had ordered him to go and serve me. But after that, he never came. So what a wonderful incident. Don't you now see the promise of Lord Krishna being fulfilled? So anytime, if you have to give an example, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Janaha Pariyupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham Ananyaha Chintayanto Mam. What is the meaning of Ananya? Anya means separate. Ananya. Anya means separate. Anya, anya, ananya. Means not separate, one with. If you feel the oneness with the Lord so intensely, Ananya, Chintayanto Mam, if anybody always meditate upon me intensely, is always thinking, Ramakrishna, Sharda Devi. Sorry for that, excuse me. Ananyaha Chintayanto Mam. Whoever is meditating on me constantly with that identity of oneness with me. Always. He doesn't have time to think of anything else but God. Ananyaha chintayanto mam. Ye janaha pariupasate. Tesham, to those people who are always thinking of me, meditating on me, doing japa on me. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Always. Yoga kshemam. Yoga and kshema. Both worldly needs and spiritual benefit. I take care of them personally. Lord has promised, Lord Krishna has promised, personally I will take care of them. And you saw here, Ramakrishna is taking the form of Durga and telling that monk to go and serve me, serve Subodhananda. Not once, twice, thrice. You will get more virtue by serving that sick monk. And another monk is coming. He received money order of 50 rupees in the postal. He told, this will be more useful for your service. You are sick. Monk, please take this, accept this money. You can have good diet, you can have medicines. So repeatedly sadhus are coming. Again and again Mother Durga is sending that monk. So now he got the tangible proof that Master is always looking after him. Then I prayed to the Master, Master, please don't tempt me anymore. I don't want anything, I don't want anybody, I want only you. I am very glad that you have crushed my peak. When Subodhanandaji was practicing austerities in Gaya, so Gaya is in Bihar, bordering Bengal. From Calcutta it is very nearby. So Subodhanandaji, after this Haridwar, he came to Gaya, where it is a place of Gadadhara Vishnu. The pada of Gadadhara Vishnu is there. There was one demon called Gayasura. So though he was a demon, he had so much of devotion to Lord Vishnu. He did lot of austerities to get Vishnu, just like Vibhishana. Though he was the younger brother of Ravana, he had great respect and devotion to Vishnu, Narayana and Ramachandra. Ardent devotee of Ramachandra. He served him so much, at the cost of even giving up his relationship with his own brother, family, everybody. Wherever the adharma, unrighteousness was there, he just simply rejected the adharma and went to the side of the dharma. He fought for the dharma. Even though adharma was on the side of his elder brother, he gave up his elder brother itself because he was on the side of adharma. He came to Rama's party. It served him so much. Such was the devotion of Vibhishana. Likewise, here, even long before this incident of Rama, there was this demon named Gayasura. He was so devoted to Lord Vishnu. He did lot of tapasya here in this Gaya. And he pleaded, if somebody can go, either Sridhar or Naresh, go to the thing and bring that Gaya Vishnu Pada of Gaya. People can have in the morning that vision of the feet of Lord Vishnu. So Vishnu was so pleased with this austerities, sadhana, tapasya of Gayasura. He gave him the vision and asked him, what do you want from me? Do you know that great demon, though a demon, how can you call him a demon? Only he was born in the demon family, that's all. What was the boon he asked? He didn't ask anything for himself. I have you, my Lord, that is more than enough. My only boon is you should stay here in this place where I have done this tapasya. And you should bless all the devotees who come here. And whoever does your puja here, offer the tarpana, pinda, at your feet here, they should get liberation. They should not suffer in hell. They should not be in a state of limbo. They should go to the next stage of evolution. So bless them. That is the only boon I want. He asked for others. He didn't ask for himself. The boon. So Lord Vishnu promised him, yes, I will stay here. And whoever comes and does the pinda pradana, the offering of the pinda here at the feet, 100% they will get liberation. Liberation in the sense, not that highest God realization, but they will get liberation from that whatever hell, if they are in that hell or in the state of very bad things. So you can here see one pada. This is the feet of Lord Vishnu. It is decorated. It is like this. People can sit around it here and they can worship. This is exactly on the stone, the feet of Lord Vishnu. Gaya Vishnu pada here. So they will, anybody, you too can go and worship. See here, you can see that person. There's no decoration here. The pada, the feet is here. So you can touch that and do the worship and do the pinda pradana, the feet of Lord Vishnu. See how many things are there in India for us to approach God. Not one, thousands of thousands and thousands. Everywhere it is replete with spirituality. That is the speciality. See here again, the pada is there of Gadadhara Vishnu. So you can see that. Even when, before getting sannyasa, we were performing our obsequious ceremony, the funeral rites, because once we get sannyasa, we don't have the right to perform the, what do you call this, rituals for something personal. It should be only impersonal, no personal thing, no personal enjoyment for us as sannyasis. So we have to do all this ceremony, whatever, because nobody will be there for us to do that. We will cut all the bonds from the family. So while we are performing that ceremony, last ceremony for us, before sannyasa, that is the obsequious ceremony, we have to repeat that name. The purohits, the priest will come and he will make us offer pinda to all our relatives, father, mother, father's side, their father and mother's side, their father and mother. Like that, 14 generations, they will make us offer. Then the bond of our family is cut asunder. We don't belong to that family anymore. We become universal personalities. Vishwamanava. Then we, after that, we have to call everybody, all these forefathers, father, mother, even if they are alive, you have to give them. Your brother, sister, even if you can give to your animals, to any animal you love, even a dog or any animal you love, you can give that animal also. If it is in a bad state, it can get into the human life or some higher lives. Next progress. So whatever the bad state they are, if they are in the form of the ghosts, if they have not got a human body to perform their future evolution, so they will get liberated from that bad state. Anybody, compulsory, after performing, suppose our parents, father, mother, grandfather, they have passed away, every year we have to perform the Shraddha ceremony to them. But if you perform once here in Gaya, then after that you need not perform at all again, because 100%, if anybody performs the thing here, the Shraddha rite, they will go to the next state. So after that, you need not perform at all. Such is the power of this place, Gaya. Gaya Vishnu Pada. So while we are doing the ceremony, every time we offer the pinda, we have to repeat that mantra. Gaya Ganga Gadadhara Hari. Each time, Gaya Ganga Gadadhara Hari. I remember it distinctly. I can remember that on that day. That was in 1998. They will put that darbasana. The priest will tell, call your father, call your mother, call your brother, sister, anybody alive or dead, and offer them this pinda. So we had to do all that thing. So we have to repeat that name: Gaya, Ganga, Gadadhara, Hari. You can see no decoration, nothing. The Vishnu Pada is there. So here in this Gaya, the famous Kshetra for Lord Vishnu, Vishnu is staying there because he has promised that Gayasura is great devotee. So when you go to India, you can go there. It's very near to Calcutta. When you go to Belur Math, you can go there in a vehicle. It's very nearby, at the most 100 kilometers or so. So you can stay there, perform the ceremonies for your any ancestors or anybody. Even if they are alive, you can give them. The Purohits will be there for different states. If you are from Tamil Nadu or Andhra or anybody, the priests will be there, they will help you. Anybody can go and touch that, you see, and offer the flower, the feet of Vishnu. So whenever you go to India, you can go touch. And from this is the place where Vishnu, Gadadhara Vishnu told the father of Ramakrishna, that is Chattopadhyaya, Kshudirama Chattopadhyaya, that I will be coming to your family as your son. That's why he named Ramakrishna as Gadadhara. So our Ramakrishna is none other than this Gadadhara Vishnu. So please visit this place when you go to India. Not only you will be touching the feet of Lord Vishnu, you can offer that Pinda Pradhan or perform Shraddha for any near and dear ones of yours, and they will get liberation without fail. So here in this place, Swami Subodhananda was practicing austerity, sadhana, spiritual practices in Gaya. Now here in this place, he had a life-threatening experience, which Subodhanandaji, he later described. What happened there? What was the life-threatening experience? It was the month of August. I saw a person wade through the Phalgu river. So here in this Gaya, there is a river called Phalgu Nadi. So Subodhanandaji saw a person wade through the Phalgu river because the monks will not have money and even the poor people. So the crossing of the river, you have to pay the money for the boatman. But what for the monks? What for the poor people? They have to walk. They have to wade through the waters because they will not have money to give the boatman to cross. So Subodhanandaji is seeing, it was a month of August because June, July is rainy season. August also you will have lot of rain in India, monsoons. It was the month of August. Subodhanandaji is telling, I saw a person wade through the Phalgu river and reach the other side. It was waist deep. So I decided, because Subodhananda never knew swimming, you know that he had a phobia for water too. And he never knew swimming. So now because that person waded through that water, it was only waist deep. So I too decided to cross. My companion knew how to swim, but I didn't know how to swim. Suddenly, while I was crossing, wading through the river, because it was the rainy season, somewhere else, if there is more rain, then the current of the river increases suddenly. So my companion knew how to swim, but I didn't know swimming. While crossing, I have gone some distance in that river, wading through that river. Suddenly the river swelled with a strong current because of the heavy rain somewhere else. When I had crossed a certain distance, I suddenly found myself, because earlier you saw it was only throat deep, the waist deep. But now because of that rain somewhere else and sudden increase in the water, he was in the throat deep water. I realized that there was very little chance of saving my life because the undercurrent, the water is becoming stronger and stronger.
I cannot now control myself. I can't walk anything. I am in throat deep water. I realized that there was very little chance of my saving life. So I told my companion, I don't know where this Falgu river current will take me. It is pulling me. There is little chance for my life. Please convey my salutations to all my brother disciples in Belur Mutt. Then I prayed to Master, O Master, please accept my last pranam salutation. So, in that way, he wanted to now just give up trying to wriggle out from that current. He gave up all the effort and he just surrendered to Ramakrishna. And he prayed to Sri Ramakrishna, O Lord, O Master, please accept my last pranam. Now I am definitely going to die. My last pranam salutations to you. As soon as I said that, I was completely submerged in water, but I felt that someone held my hand and pulled me through that gushing stream. Somebody held my hand and pulled me through that gushing stream to the other side of the river. Who else? Has not Ramakrishna promised that I will be with you always? So when he surrendered completely, he stopped his self-effort and he called Ramakrishna, this is last. Now I can't put in any effort. I know I will die surely. The current will carry me. He even told the companion, please tell all the other sadhus in Belur Mutt that I offered my last salutation to them. And also he offered last salutation to Ramakrishna. Master, he didn't ask Ramakrishna to save his life. He told Master, I know, sure, I'm going to die here. Then I prayed to Master, please accept my last pranams. Salutation. Namo Namaha. As soon as I said this word, I was completely submerged in that water, Falgu river. But suddenly I felt that someone held my hands and pulled me through that gushing stream to the other side of the river. So that was Ramakrishna who pulled him through that river. During his itinerant days, Subodhananda, so itinerant means was a wandering monk. So that is the English name for Parivrajaka life is called itinerant monk. Parivrajaka sannyasi. Parivrajana, going round. So that English name is itinerant monk. During his itinerant days, Subodhananda would sometimes sleep under a tree by the side of a road. The ground was his bed and his arms were his pillow. Where will you find the pillow? No belongings. At the most, if you find some stone, you can keep some stone. Or if there is a mound of mud, you can keep your head on that mud. But on the plain ground, where will you find? So the arm itself, you will keep your arms like this as pillow. So the ground was the bed, bare ground was the bed. The tree was the house, roof. So during his itinerant days, Subodhananda would sometimes sleep under a tree by the side of a road. The ground was his bed and his arms were his pillow. He described one night's experience while he was passing through Bihar. Once on my way, I slept under a banyan tree at night. After a while, I had a dream. I saw an old woman telling me, you get up from this place, don't sleep under this banyan tree. Because of you, the snakes are unable to get out of their holes. You are sleeping on the doorway to the house of the snakes. Many snakes are residing here. Because you are sleeping here, many snakes which are underground now, they cannot come out. You are covering their door of the house of the snakes. So that old woman is telling him, get up from this place. Because of you, the snakes are unable to get out of their holes. Go forward a little from here. I'm not asking you to sleep here. You just go forward a little because lot of snakes are living underneath. You are covering their holes, so they can't come out. So please go forward. Go forward a little, and you will find a police station. You can spend your night there. You can sleep there in that police station. To which I asked that old woman, will they allow me to stay in that police station? You know, the police during the British, they were very rude, and they would think these people are some spies or some freedom fighters, and they may arrest me and put me into the jail. Will they allow me to stay in that police station? I asked that old woman, to which that old woman said, yes, they will allow you to sleep there. When you go and knock at the door of the police station, they will ask, who are you? Say to them, I'm a mendicant, I'm a monk. So now, accordingly, the old woman instructed me. So accordingly, I awoke, and according to the instructions of that old woman, I went to that police station and knocked and told them I got shelter in the veranda of the police station. Since all this happened in the dark, see, darkness means no light at all. If there is moon, then the moonlight may be there a little, and that too in the forest, in the open, and under the tree, you can't even have the starlight or moonlight. It will be very pitch dark. And he was sleeping under the tree. He couldn't notice anything there. So the next morning, Subodhanandaji went to check the ground under the banyan tree, and I found where I was sleeping, there were many holes going to the ground. The local people then told me that the place was infested with lots of cobras. Cobras are very poisonous snakes in India. People fear, many people die by the bite of the cobra. Whatever in South Africa, they call the poisonous snake the same cobra-like thing as mamba, black mamba. So there in India, cobras are also feared a lot. So the people there told, and he also saw many holes where he was sleeping, blocking their holes that was infested with lot of cobras. Then someone asked Subodhanandaji, Swamiji, who was that old woman who came and told you, instructed you to go from that place? After a brief silence, Swami Subodhanandaji replied, it was the Divine Mother. You know, there are different aspects of Divine Mother. One is Shitala Devi and another one is Manasa Devi. Shitala Devi is the goddess of the microbes, the bacteria, the virus, all that you get, all the diseases. She is the controller of all these things. She is called Shitala Devi. She is worshipped in India. Any microbes, any diseases, or whatever microbe, that microbial bacteria or virus or anything is controlled by that Divine Mother aspect. She is called Shitala Devi. Then the goddess of snakes is called Manasa Devi. In North India, Bengal, they worship the Divine Mother as Manasa Devi, the goddess of snakes. In South India, the same mother is worshipped in different names. Shitala Devi is called Mariamman or Maramma. So Manasa Devi is called by another name. Whatever that might be. So Subodhanandaji told that old woman who came in that night and woke me up and asked me to leave that place because the snakes can't come out. They are covered. You are covering, sleeping there, covering their holes, they can't come out. Please go a little forward, you get a police station, you can get the thing. She was Manasa Devi, the goddess of snake. So Subodhanandaji replied that old woman was none other than the Divine Mother. Once Subodhanandaji was passing through Mangher in Bihar. He was very much hungry, because if you get some houses, and that too, they're all poor houses. In India, that custom is there. Any monk coming, they will sacrifice their own food and give it to the monks. Even now you can find those things, that habit. When we got sannyasa, our Gurudev will tell we have to compulsorily go to different parts of Calcutta, not to the known places or houses. We have to beg. So that is to remove our ego. You are asked to beg. My Gurudev of Sannyasa, Paramapuja Srimad Swami Bhuteshanandaji Maharaj, instructed us after Sannyasa, go beg in 5 or 7 houses. If you get food there, you can come. You can get that food, come back. Offer it to Master, offer it to Ramakrishna, because Ramakrishna liked that Madhukari Bhiksha food, alms, because it is very pure. The purest form of food is the alms, begged alms, Madhukari Bhiksha. So they offer it to the Master. Then after that, we take it as prasad. If you get, well and good. If you don't get, you have to stay fasting. No food then. But many of our sadhus, all of us will get food, but many of our sadhus will have got, so we could share that also. So 3 days, early in the morning at 8 o'clock, we have to go and stand outside the door, and we have to, our revered Gurudev asked us to tell the mantra, Narayana Hari, we have to shout. Then the owner of the house, is that the mother or the father, man or the woman, the owner of the house will come out, what do you want? Alms. Then they will try to give money. We should not take money, only cooked food, not even dry food, cooked food. Then there will be only, our chadar will be folded like a joli, jolige or joli. So in that joli, no box or no plate or anything. They will put into that cloth, whether it is sambar, whether it is curry, whether it is rice or whatever, chapati, whatever that may be, has to be put into that joli. No cup or anything. It will be just going down. If it is sambar, curry, everything will be going down that. Nothing. You have to take that, offer it to Master, then you have to share with others and eat. So while going for Bhiksha, in many places you will get nice scolding. You're so strong, you're so well built, why can't you go and work? Do some coolie work, like coolies go, do some work and you will get some money, earn some money. Do the hard work and get food. Why do you want to come and beg? You might be thieves. You are surveying the houses in the morning and night, you want to come to maybe to steal. So you'll get all those things. Whatever they give you Bhiksha, pray to the Lord, Narayana Hari, for their welfare. Even if they don't give Bhiksha, pray for their welfare. Even if they give you scoldings, insult you, pray for their welfare. Tell the name of Narayana Hari and leave that place. That was the instruction of the Gurudev. So even now, even though now we don't go for Bhiksha, we have to apply that everywhere, the instruction of our Guru. Whatever, when you are dealing with any people, pray for their welfare, whether they are favorable or unfavorable, insult you or trouble you, whatever. That same instruction to crush our ego, that we will be made to go through this process of alms. At certain place, they early in the morning, 8:30, where will they have cooked food, meals? There will be no meals. So one mother of the house told, please wait. And she made us wait there, cooked it quickly within 10-15 minutes, and then she gave us. Then in another house, there were only some people in Calcutta, though the Orissa workers, 2 or 3 male people were there. They had come to work. So they used to get some food from outside. So from their tiffin carrier or whatever the food had come, they gave us all that food to us, the Orissa workers. They gave all that food to us and they went starving. And in another place, I told you that we used to get some nice scoldings also and insults also. We have to accept it happily. No cursing, just Narayana Hari, bless or no blessing, the prayers, pray for them, welfare. Then while we were walking, some school children were going in the auto rickshaw or in the taxi. Do you know, they two, one girl of maybe 7 years or 8 years and boy of 5 years or 6 years, brothers and sister, they stopped their auto rickshaw. They bought their tiffin carrier. They were given the food to carry in their tiffin carrier to the school, noon meals. So they bought that, they stopped us, they put all that food to our this thing jolly and they went empty. Small children, they have been trained by their parents in such a way, samskara. We were dumbstruck. What can we do? Only tears trickle down, that's all, nothing else. That is India, that is Hinduism. That's our great religion. So here, Swami Subodhananda was passing through Mangher in Bihar. He was very hungry and exhausted. He sat down by the side of the road. Because he was exhausted, no food for many days. He's walking, hot sun, no shelter. So he sat down by the side of the road and Subodhananda asked some cowherd boys to pick some peas from the nearby field. Seeing them in the field, the farmer chased the boys and they ran back to the Swami. Subodhananda calmly said to the farmer, "Brother, please punish me. It is I who asked these boys to pick up the peas for me. So the fault is mine. Please don't punish those boys, punish me." That farmer was very impressed with Subodhananda's simplicity and humility. He told him to take as many peas as he needed. But Subodhananda refused his offer. But in the meantime, a man bought various kinds of food, well-cooked food for the Swami. He ate a little, whatever he wanted, and the rest he distributed amongst those cowherd boys. It is difficult to record Swami Subodhananda's travel account chronologically, since he traveled often and alone throughout many parts of India, leaving no records. He visited some important holy places of South India also. He came to Kanyakumari. You know, Kanyakumari, the temple is facing the sea, Indian Ocean. And if you go a little forward in that direction, you get this rock, Kanyakumari rock, where Swami Vivekananda swam in that sea, infested with shark and so much of stones, and sat on that rock for 3 days and 3 nights, no shelter, lot of heat, terribly hot. In the night it will be cold. No food, no shelter, no place to stay, open rock. And without any food, without any sleep, he stayed there, meditated for 3 days and 3 nights, cried to the Lord to show the solution to the development of India. So now they have built a very huge temple, Vivekananda Memorial Rock, on the other side. So just facing that is Kanyakumari temple, where Divine Mother, in the form of a 6-year-old or 7-year-old girl, she had an incarnation, Divine Mother, and she did tapasya, austerity, to get Shiva as her husband. So even now you can see that Divine Mother image of that small girl. So that is Kanya Kumari. Kanyaka. Kanya means a girl of 6 or 7 years is called Kanya. Kumari is also the same thing, of that age. So when Swami Brahmanandaji, another disciple of Ramakrishna, the Manasaputra, he was spiritually elevated very much. In his last life, he was the companion, close friend, chum of Lord Krishna. So now Swami Brahmananda used to go to different temples everywhere in India. Whichever temple he used to go, that particular deity would give him the darshan. Could see that. When he went to Tirupati, instead of having the darshan of Lord Vishnu, he had the darshan of Divine Mother. Originally, it is the Divine Mother who is present there. But they will put so many ornaments and cover it up, and they will decorate it like Lord Vishnu. Whatever that might be, it's the same thing, the same god or goddess. Now in Kanyakumari, when Swami Brahmanandaji went into the temple, he had the vision of the Divine Mother like that of a child of 7 or 6. And how do the children behave? They'll be always, the child, the girl child will be always laughing and giggling. So the Divine Mother started giggling, laughing like that small child. And the whole temple was filled with that giggle of the Divine Mother, Kanya Kumari. Brahmanandaji also hearing that, all others are not hearing, only Brahmanandaji, because he was of that, in that higher yoga state, he could see that and hear it. And he too started laughing and giggling. It was contagious. In the life of Brahmanandaji it comes. So that is Kanya Kumari, the Divine Mother, incarnation in Tamil Nadu. Every other places in India you will find in every state. But here in Tamil Nadu we have so many such temples like Madurai Meenakshi. She came as the daughter of Pandya Rajakumara. Then Kanchi Kamakshi, she came as the incarnation. Like that, Kanyakumari is also another incarnation of Divine Mother. In her 7 or 8-year-old, she is staying there. And now you can go to the temple even now there, Kanyakumari. So Subodhanandaji also came to some of the pilgrimage sites in South India. He visited some important holy places of South India such as Kanyakumari, then Rameshwaram, a little away, maybe at 100 kilometers away from this Kanyakumari is Rameshwaram, where Lord Ramachandra, with the help of Hanuman and other Vanara Sainya, he built that bridge, the stone bridge to Sri Lanka to bring Mother Sita back. So even now you can find that bridge there. And afterwards, bringing Mother Sita, he established one Shivalinga there. And that Shiva temple and worshipped it. It was asked to Hanuman to go to Kailasa and bring a Shivalinga, but the auspicious time was almost getting over. So now Ramachandra had to perform the puja in the auspicious time. Hanuman was late. So Mother Sita, with her Pativrata Shakti, the power, she prepared a Shivalinga with the sand of the sea. And even now, after 60,000 years, that sand linga is still there. They cover that with a golden covering and they do all the worship. But if you open that, it is still there. The same sand linga done by Mother Sita Mata. When Mother Sharda Devi went to this Rameshwaram temple, because she was the Guru Patni of Ramakrishna, whose disciple was Vivekananda. So the king of Ramnad was initiated into as a disciple of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, when came back from America, this king who was his disciple, he unlocked the horses of the carriage and he himself like a horse had pulled that carriage, the king himself, king of Ramanad. So such was the devotion of that disciple of his. When Mother Sharda Devi came there, he was so much happy to receive her. He made all the arrangements and he commanded all that priests in the temple, because he was the king of that Ramanad, whole of Rameshwaram. So he commanded them to open that Shivalinga and allow Mother to worship that. He gave golden bilvas to worship that Shivalinga. When Mother was worshipping, She saw that linga and told, oh, it is the same way as I had left then. As Mother Sita, in the avatar of Mother Sita, as I had left, it is still there as it is. That was the comment of Holy Mother Sharda Devi. So that is Rameshwaram, where the Shivalinga prepared by Mother Sita, Ramachandra worshipped it to please Lord Shiva. That is Rameshwaram. Ishvara worshipped by Rama. Then Hanuman bought that Shivalinga from Kailasa, so not to hurt him. So Rama also worshipped that and established that in front of the temple, and he gave a boon that whoever who come to Rameshwaram have to first worship the Hanuman's Shivalinga, who had bought that Shivalinga, that one, and then only they can come inside and worship the Rameshwar Shivalinga. So Subodhanandaji also came to Rameshwaram. Then he also came to Madurai. As I told you, Madurai, Meenakshi Amma. Meena Akshi. Meena means the eyes like that of the fish. Fish-eyed. Meena means fish. Akshi means eyes. Why is she called fish eyes? Meenakshi. You know, the fish, mother fish, will have so many baby fishes, hundreds of them. So by her eyesight, just by eyes, she feeds them, she gives them all the nutrition, she protects them by the look. So likewise, this Divine Mother, Meena Akshi, by her look of the eyes itself, she will look after all her children. Meena Akshi. That is the meaning, Meenakshi. Here, Kamakshi in Kanchipuram. So Meenakshi, she was Mother Parvati or Divine Mother, incarnated as the daughter of Pandya Rajakumara, Pandya Raja, the Pandya kings of Tamil Nadu. So it is very popular, Madurai Meenakshi Shiva. So our Subodhanandaji came after Rameshwaram, Kanyakumari to Madurai. And also he visited Madras. At that time, it was called Madras. Now they have some 10-20 years back, they changed the name as Chennai. Earlier it was Channapattana. So from the Channapattana, they shortened it as Chennai. But the old name was, there was a place called Madrajapuri. So that Madrajapuri on the coast couldn't be pronounced by the Britishers in that way, Madrajapuri. So they shortened it as Madras. But the original name was Madrajapuri. So he came to that place too. He learned a little of Tamil language. Subodhanandaji learned a little of Tamil language and later would tell devotees about South Indian folklore and religious traditions. In 1897, Subodhanandaji gave a lecture to the Young Men's Hindu Association in Madras. And what was the subject? Sannyasa and Brahmacharya. That lecture was published in the November 1898 issue of Prabuddha Bharata. Following are some excerpts from that lecture. So now let us see what is that gist of that lecture. The topic Sannyasa and Brahmacharya, given by Swami Subodhananda in Madras to the Young Men's Hindu Association in 1897. That has been published in Prabuddha Bharata in the 1898 issue of Prabuddha Bharata. Swami Vivekananda started this magazine, Prabuddha Bharata. Following are some of the excerpts. Swami Subodhanandaji is telling, Sannyasa is the renunciation of all selfish motives and desires. Before I explain what sannyasa is, I should speak to you about brahmacharya. For unless the latter is realized, that is brahmacharya is realized, no sannyasa or renunciation is possible. The observance of brahmacharya requires strict regulation of one's diet, habits and thoughts. Not only diet, habits and even thoughts. Strict regulation of diet, habits, and thoughts are required for Brahmacharya. Of all the injunctions prescribed for this stage, the greatest stress is laid by the scriptures upon the complete mastery of sexual instinct. So, that is the main important feature of Brahmacharya. Of all the injunctions prescribed for this Brahmacharya stage, the greatest stress is laid by the scriptures upon the complete mastery of the sexual instinct. Nothing should be sensed or done by the aspirant that might directly or otherwise tend to arouse the animal in him or her. In this way, one is directed to bring one's mind under full control. He who is not a slave to his senses and mind, but on the contrary, has made the mind and the senses his slaves, is a true brahmacharyan, that is true brahmacharya, mind control and sense control. All the religions of the world preach this brahmacharya and sannyasa, both of which have one and the same end in view, namely to lift the mind up from all sensual concerns towards God. When the mind reaches God, then it enjoys the highest divine bliss. So the lecture continues, only that important feature of that has been given. Our master Sri Ramakrishna used to say that if we wanted to pass a thread through the eye of the needle, all the scattered fibers of the thread should be brought to a point, and then alone could we make it go through the needle. If you have learnt sewing, stitching, in our childhood we would be taught, in the school, in work experience we would be taught, and in the house too we used to learn it from our mothers. So while first, before the stitching the cloth or anything, we have to put the thread into the eye of the needle. Then only we can sew it, stitch it. Now, if the thread, there are strings, end of the thread are numerous and it is spreading out. If they are not pointed, then it is very difficult to put it to the eye of the needle. The eye of the needle itself is so small, and the eye of the needle is still small, and to put the thread into that will be very difficult task. So all that scattered fibers, we see that they will either put it into the mouth through the saliva, they will make it wet and they will make it sharpen. All the scattered fibers will be, or else they will keep water. Those who are little neat and clean, they will put that water and make it sharp. They will squeeze it like that. All the scattered fibers are made to come to one point, sharp edge. Then that will be pierced. You know that how the children, there are so many videos showing that with great difficulty they will put the thing inside. It needs so much of focus. So Ramakrishna used to cite this example of putting the fiber, the thread, into the eye of the needle. Then what should we do? Subodhanandaji is telling our master used to say that if we wanted to pass a thread through the eye of a needle, all the scattered fibers of the thread should be brought to a point, concentrated, focused, and then alone could we make it go through the needle. Otherwise, if the fibers were allowed to point in all different directions, that would prevent the thread from passing through the eye of the needle. Similarly, if you want to lift our mind up towards God, we must bring it back from all external things and concentrate it on one point. Then only you can reach God. Our master Ramakrishna says that as rain, water does not stand upon a high ground, a mound of mud or a stone, but always the water seeks the lowest level, a pit, the lowest level. Similarly, Those people who are puffed up with vanity and ego cannot retain any faith in themselves. If you have ego, not people, we have seen many people becoming angry, egoistic, too much egoistic, then you cannot receive the grace of God. Why? Because the mound of ego will not allow the grace of God, which is in the form of the water, rain, it flows on us. So if you have this mound of ego, the water, the grace of God will not be collected. But instead, if you have the pit of humility, automatically that grace of God in that form of water collects there. Ramakrishna used to cite that example. So if you are egoistic, if you have this ego, if you don't overcome ego, you cannot get the grace of God, whatever you do. The main problem of all our life is that ego. So Ramakrishna used to tell, Subodhanandaji is telling, our master says that as rainwater does not stand upon high ground, but always seeks the lowest level, similarly, those who are puffed up with vanity, ego, cannot retain any faith in themselves. So many people will be asking why we don't have faith. Why don't we get faith in God? Because ego. If you have egotism, then you will not get faith in God. Those who are puffed up with vanity, pride, and ego cannot retain any faith in themselves. For faith, like the water, seeks the heart of the humble and the meek. As long as there are quarrels among different individuals and sects, they do not rise up to realize the highest truth. Now, Subodhanandaji is telling another thing. He's telling that as long as there are quarrels amongst different individuals and sects, they do not rise up to realize the highest truth. When truth shines, the darkness of ignorance and its crew of narrowness, bigotry, and fanaticism that deluge the earth with murder and bloodshed shall all vanish. So, what is the fanatic view? My God is the true God, your God is false. Or the words of the men groping in darkness of ignorance. Once, Subodhanandaji is giving the example of Keshav Chandra Sen, the leader of the Brahma Samaj, asked our master Ramakrishna, since there is only one God, how is it that there are so many sects quarreling with one another in the name of God? To which Sri Ramakrishna replied to Keshav Chandra Sen, you see, people always quarrel over their lands, properties, and other things of the world, saying, this land is mine and that land is thine. In this way, they divide their earth in various ways by drawing lines of demarcation to distinguish their respective properties. But no one ever quarrels about the open space. Can you divide the open space? Can you fence it? That is above the earth, for that belongs to none, as there can be drawn no lines on it to distinguish one's property from the another. Similarly, when the mind rises above all the worldly concerns, the aspirant, that person, can have no occasion to quarrel. For them, for then he reaches a certain point, which is the common goal of all. When a man realizes God, he cannot quarrel. But when he is below the right mark, that is, when he is distant from God, he is more or less given to quarreling. Although you may have many occasions for it, and thus at last end all these disagreements by realizing universal harmony and agreement, which are only to be found in God, who is both God, that God who is both without and within you. So we will continue to see the wonderful teachings and the life of Swami Subodhananda further in our next classes. We will meet again on Thursday and Friday to discuss the same subject. Until then, we will be again and again hearing and reading the teachings and life of Swami Subodhananda, which infuses, which increases our faith in God. Because we see Subodhanandaji is having so much of faith in God, he is always protected and cared all the time. So now we will proceed to answer the questions or doubt if there are any. Now, any questions, any doubts? On the live chat, there is a question. They posted it. What is the question? Sid Ray. Pranam Swamiji. Swamiji, why food from Madhukari Bhiksha is so auspicious? Because the first thing is, as I told you, when you are begging for alms, you are now crushing your ego. There is no ego left. So secondly, the people who are giving you alms, it is their hard-earned money. The bad people will not give you alms. They are full of ego. You go and beg only in the poor people's houses. They have worked hard, very hard. They may be coolies, they may be farmers, they may be cowherds. So hard-earned money, with that they give with their pure heart. Anybody giving alms is with pure heart and love. They give you. Those who have bad tendencies very rarely give you. So without ego, getting the food without ego and from the purely hard-earned thing, and you don't completely, you depend upon God. That's why whatever you get from that Madhukari Bhiksha becomes pure. Another question, Sibran Ushama. Pranam Swamiji, how can one deal with very egoistic people, especially when it concerns very important decisions? Everywhere, people in their workplace, they will find egoistic people. So handling them is very, very difficult. So we should not press upon our ego or our view. You should suppose if whatever decision you have taken is right, you make them give that thing as if through their own thing. They might have not, because egoistic people generally are not very intelligent. They are with that ego, they can't think properly. So you give your ideas, the right ideas, and make it come through their mouth so that they will get the credit. They are egoistic only because they want to get the credit. You, when you don't have the ego, you need not worry about you getting that name and fame or credit. The work, the good work is to be done. The children in the school or anywhere else, wherever, whatever, are to be benefited. So your aim is to be only the benefit, welfare of the people. The egoistic people, important thing is they want the credit. Let them have the credit. For us, we have to please the Lord. So you always try to please the Lord. Tasmin tushte jagat tushtam. Then even the most egoistic person will be pleased and he will just keep quiet. If you try to get the credit for yourself, then the fight comes. So why do you want the credit? Just offer the credit and give the name and frame to them. If you are spiritually inclined person, for you, the credit is not important, but to please the Lord is important. So that way you can handle the egoistic people very nicely, give them the credit and make things from as if they are doing it is their idea, give them the credit, they will be very happy then. Any other questions? Any other doubts or questions here in the Google Live?
Okay, if you don't have any questions, if you don't have any doubts, we can conclude with the prayer, closing prayer. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshaha Sarvayagneswaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam Prenite Prenitam Jagat Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayanaya.